in Sobriety.
This podcast is inspired by community, language, diversity, truth, love, and connection.
We have to stand in solidarity, for we are the matriarchs.
Intergenerational wisdom.
We're happy. New model.
Tansei, hello. I am your host, Shaylin Natauhau, coming to you live from Treaty 6 territory, heartland of the Métis. You are listening to Sacred Tea and Cree, an Indigenous podcast inclined to center Indigenous voices and storytellers. Every week on this show, I will be sharing a connection from the roots of Indigenous and Métis peoples. We all have something important to share. Our lifestyles, our experiences, and our perspectives are all sacred. In this space, those stories can be acknowledged in their truest light. This is Sacred Tea and Cree. And say to wow, Shaylin Natauhau Nitsiga-san, it's good to be back. We got a full wide screen today, and yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I think we had like some technical difficulties there a little bit in the beginning. Yeah, I see that Taylor Belanger has commented Hamashay. So I don't know if we went live a little bit earlier or if we're good now. But yeah, this is episode Niso on the topic healing. I'm going to introduce our guest, our special guest, Kaleigh. She is behind the curtain right now. Not this curtain. Oh, you're all creepy. No, she's not behind this curtain. But I'm going to introduce her. First, I'm going to read her bio. My screen is going to go black. I hope that doesn't cause any disruption or interference to our live. But I'd like to read her bio, and I can't manage to get the bio on screen yet. I'm not that deadly. So yeah, just give me a moment. I'm sure you can still hear me. Kaleigh River Armenko is a Are you kidding me? Did I like literally just... Oh man! Okay, I think to go read the bio, I think I just exited, which sucks. I knew I should have wrote everything down. I'm so sorry, I apologize, but I'm just gonna invite our guest in, Kaleigh.
Hi.
Kaleigh, oh my gosh, how did that go?
I don't know. I didn't hear you.
I don't know if I can hear you, girl. Is it me or is it?
Can you hear me?
Somebody that's watching, can you guys hear Kaleigh or is it just me? Maybe it is just me. These are gonna be some great bloopers. Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna put in some headphones here.
Maybe I
Kaleigh,
should too.
how about you start with, I don't know if the introduction worked. Give me a nod if it did. I exited the studio, right? You couldn't see me at all, hey? Or hear me? Okay,
No.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
So, sorry about that. My apologies. I think we're going to need to
Everyone else can hear her, but I can't, so I'm going to throw on some headphones that I got from Dollar Store for $4. So I'm going to throw them on so I can hear her, and then we're going to do an introduction.
I wonder if I should grab mine.
I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think I totally exited the studio to introduce you, which sucks, man, because I did like a brilliant explanation and introduction on you. And I honestly, I apologize, everybody.
It's
This
okay.
is Kaleigh River Armenko, our wonderful guest. From the top of my head, I'm going to reintroduce her and elaborate everything. Kaleigh is a Cree and Dakota woman. She is from Isla Cross, Treaty 10. That's in Saskatchewan. If y'all didn't know, she's also a West Sider. So shout out to our West Side gang out there. Kaleigh is also adopted and a member of James Smith Cree Nation. She is a mother. Oh, she's also, she has maternal ties in Wahpeton. And where else, Kaleigh?
Sturgeon Lake.
And Sturgeon Lake. Yeah, exactly. So she's also a mother, a poet, a writer, and she tells her incredible story through social media as a form of self-healing, and it gives her an opportunity to inspire and have hope for others in their healing journey. So thank Kaleigh for her amazing, she does amazing at writing. When I first met Kaleigh, she looked at me and, I was just like, oh my gosh, what did she think about me for real? Because I was younger and I was just like sitting at this board table with her, and she's a lot older than me. And so I was nervous and I felt intimidated, and then all of a sudden she just slides this piece of paper and it's like a poem, 2 different poems, and I just felt like complete. I felt so like whole after meeting her. She has beautiful poetry that she can write on the spot. She has an incredible gift, and so she's going to share one of her poems with us right now. Give it away.
Okay. Well, this poem actually was inspired by you, Shay, and all of the birth work I know you do and the way you help women. It's inspired by you. It's for all women. It's called For the Women. And I wrote it on November 3rd, 2022. I've never shared it before. So here it goes. Birth work is a medicine bundle, carried through generations. The matriarchs once held us as our bodies swayed and changed with the moon and tides, while we carried forward life, whether our babies made it earthside or not, whether by choice to go through the portal, the gateway of spirit, world or not, you're still sacred. You're still a mother. The women before us knew to release judgments and shame, knew to release those harmful colonial ways that tell us our bodies are broken or cannot be trusted, that we are sinners if we choose different. Even choice is sacred, and sometimes we don't get to. And the matriarchs knew, I promise you, that love for you still exists, whether they are here or there. Mama Bear ancestors are guiding and watching over you. Release yourself from judgment and shame. Release your fears. Let yourself breathe again. Birth work is a medicine bundle, regardless of what you choose. Say a prayer for those who've come before, who've paved the way for us to carry ourselves and raise our babies and families without colonial pain. Even if they are not here, you're still a mother, still sacred, still worthy of carrying your medicine bundle.
Hi. Well, I'm going to cry later. Honestly, like, that in itself is like complete healing. I have these on and I'm like, your voice was like echoing and I just loved it. Oh my gosh, Kaleigh, that was amazing. Like your words are so powerful and so healing. That like today's episode is all about that, and you just started us off so well, and so thank you so much for that amazing poem. Really, you just wrote that today, or?
No, I wrote that in 2022, but I've been saving
Yeah.
it.
Oh my gosh, it's savored well.
Oh,
What is it
yeah.
called when you put chicken inside a bag full of flavor? Just yeah, you know what I
Marinating,
mean?
huh?
Yeah, it was just marinating in there. Right on, right in your books.
Oh
Okay.
my
Oh, no, thank you so much for that. I'm probably gonna have like real flat ears after this, but
God.
whatever. And
It's
no,
okay.
swear to God, I actually got these from Dollar Store if anyone thinks it was a joke.
Well, they look professional.
Real man. Oh, that's another topic of for podcasting. But yeah, no. So let's get into it a little bit more. I just want to bring up a little. Keisha Ray said, "Woo, go my friend! So happy to see your face here and hear more of your story."
Hi, Keisha.
That's so awesome. You have people that are hopping on and that you know.
I'm so
Um,
grateful.
yeah, even Taylor's on. You guys are cousins, hey?
Because
Okay, cool. Um, awesome. Well, I'm going to switch us back here to our names. Yeah, so welcome everybody. Episode Niso, healing. We're going to be talking about motherhood, relationships, language, identity, a little bit about sobriety. And yeah, we can like get right into it. I didn't really prompt with any questions, Kaleigh, or anything like that. I'm just going on a whim, what comes from the heart,
yeah.
truly. Healing is like a super wide context, hey? So
Yeah.
that's why I just put down a few jots of what you and I both shared for what we could talk about. What would you like to start on?
Well, I just want to acknowledge your growth and your journey. When I met you in that boardroom, I was like, "Holy, who's that?"
I'm flattered.
It was really heartwarming, and it filled me with a lot of hope and pride, knowing that there's other young people and young women who are healing and doing that work, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
And when you're on that journey, it gets lonely, especially in the beginning. And there are still moments when it gets lonely, because like healing isn't just all the pretty stuff, all the aesthetic things you see on Facebook or on social media. A lot of it is sitting with yourself, and it's learning how to be with yourself after years of avoiding everything you don't want to deal with, whether that's things within yourself or your own family home fires. It's a lot. And whenever I hear of other people starting that journey, it's really good. It's really good medicine.
Absolutely, I agree. I can't agree enough. That's how it is. And like how you touched on like the lonely aspect of it, it's a lonely journey, but I think it's meant to be that way for us to look inward, you know,
Yeah.
and focus on ourselves for a little bit. I think that's a huge piece of the healing journey, is that self-discovery, um, you know, seeking what boundaries we need to have for ourselves and who we invite back into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important too. That's flesh. And I think that's all about that discovering our identity in the end too, is when we take that time for solitude, we really discover who we are and what's serving us and what's not. And
Yes.
that can kind of flow into why some of us choose sobriety. And you know, I've actually heard a few things about the word sobriety, and not everybody's gonna want that to hear that word. Sometimes people can be like, "Oh, that word, sobriety," it kind of just like pushes. Have you ever felt like it like pushes people away, or it kind of like? And it's
Yeah.
not to make people feel uncomfortable or like. But there's a good explanation that I've heard, and it was what the heck was it now? No, it was you know, I'm not you know, whatever your sobriety is, whether it's to abstain from alcohol or if it's to abstain from drugs or, you know, whatever. Sobriety can be so many different things, right?
Yeah.
But it's not that you don't you just choose not to. You could drink. Like, my husband explains it actually super good because he's the one who shared this before. But it's not that you, I gotta get like it written. No, man, it's a powerful one. It's like if you get
I
the
believe
whole
you.
explanation, if you get the whole explanation, like word for word, like that's where you hit the hammer on the nail. But it's basically on the lens of I I I can do that, you know. I can, but I just choose not to, you know. And that's
Mhm.
just what some people think sobriety is, you know. Like I can go out there and drink. I just choose not to, you know. And it's not, oh, I've been um how many days you've been, you know. Every day is a new chance to start over again, you know, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm gonna definitely put that in the description, the word for word, because it's a good one about sobriety, and you know, it's something worth sharing for the world, and you know, maybe it's not supposed to come from me because you know, there's other choices of why I choose to be sober, and I don't even like saying like sober because that's a huge context, right? But we
Mhm.
can dive into that if you'd like, or you know, we can continue lingering into all the topics that we have. But yeah, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, I feel like choosing to make those changes takes a lot of courage and a lot of work. And it's, like you said, a choice that you have to make every day.
Mm-hmm.
Personally speaking, in my own sobriety journey, I found that sometimes a lot of it you get put in a box, and I don't want to be put in a box anymore. I spent a long time getting out of that box. So for me, I don't like talking about it as if it's a destination. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I'm not doing this or trying to make these changes for like an end goal. It's just how life is going to be now.
Yeah.
That's how life was before, and this is how it is now. And everything that I've learned and everything that I've been through is just was just like stepping stones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll still look at the days that I've got behind me, and then it's like, wow. But then I think about the present moment, and I'm like, well, we still have all this way to go, so let's just be here right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's so important. Yeah, I definitely believe that. I was gonna kind of write like a few things down today about what I wanted to share, but like just to add on to that, like I wanted to share that, like, you know, a form that's helped me in my journey is reading, like reading and writing. Like that's how I can kind of relate with you and your healing journey, is that, like, you know, reading and writing has really helped me, but I'm still writing my story, and that's
Yeah.
like the biggest piece of, you know, like that I can relate to what you just said is I'm still writing my story. I'm still on this journey, so it's not like we're there and we can
Mm-hmm.
say it all and say it how it is, you know? everybody's story is going to be different. Like I said in my past podcast, though, it was like episode Piak was that we all go through the same kind of challenges, but we all get through it in a different way. And I think that's super important to share. Knowledge exchange is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I'm so glad that I met you, Kaleigh. Like we build those relationships with people. We connect to people who are supposed to teach us things and to encourage us and to discourage us too, man. There are people out there who are gonna get in our way and not necessarily get in our way. They're just gonna stand there and be like, "So what are you gonna do next?" Or yeah, are we meant to be friends or not, or whatever, There's gonna be demons.
I don't claim that energy. Huh? But over there.
Yeah. Yeah, we can so how long have you been sober, Kaleigh? Let's give a acknowledgement to that because you've been on your journey for a while, hey?
Yeah, it's going to be 4 years on March 7th.
Awesome. That is incredible, honestly. 4 years. Number 4. That's a sacred number. Sacred. Can you share a little bit with us, tell your story a bit, like what has really helped you in that journey to sobriety, and do you use that word, or do you call it something else, or like your journey, like what truly helps you, and share a little bit.
Buckle up. Well, I didn't think that I was going to ever be sober. I didn't think that life was something that I could do without alcohol. And, it had a lot to do with just who I was, the mentality that I carried, and I didn't value myself as deeply as I do now. And I had no understanding of my spirit or my connection. I didn't realize how powerful we all are. And I didn't believe that I had a purpose. Like, I didn't have any idea about any of that. I just walked this journey so differently, and I send a lot of love to who I was. I was in roaring amounts of pain. And a lot of times when you're angry and you don't have an understanding of yourself or your spirit, like all of that, what's the word I'm looking for? All of that love that you lack for yourself, sometimes it comes out and it hurts other people through words or actions. And I was just very hurt and very angry. And people that I loved or cared about, they often got hurt by those words, or just different things. And when you're deciding that you're wanting to be different, you have to really acknowledge yourself. You have to come to terms with all of the times that you were wrong or you were harmful. And you have to be able to sit with all of that. Yeah. And it's a lot of work. But the thing that really led me to sobriety was I left a really violent and abusive marriage. I actually left February 12th, 2019. And that's really what pushed me to start thinking different. And I had to realize that I can't go backwards to the life that I lived. Even before my ex-husband, I don't want to go back to that. Mm-hmm. And that meant shifting. That meant changing and looking at me, what needed to change within here. And so the sobriety journey, it started slow. And I didn't even want to say that I was trying to be sober. I slowly started just making changes over the course of a year and a lot of therapy because I needed therapy. And just finding different ways to stay grounded. Gratitude is actually really what helped me through that time. I remember in the beginning of therapy, I used to practice cutting off my anxious thoughts because, especially in the beginning when I left my ex-husband, I was anxious all the time. I still live with CPTSD. And in the beginning of that time, I was very fearful when I lived in Saskatoon. So I was always having racing thoughts about, am I going to see him? What's he going to do if he ever sees me? Can I go over there? Am I going to be safe if I leave my home? Like just all of these different things. And so what I started doing was I would cut off my anxious thoughts and I would make a quick gratitude list and I would stick to 3 things. And it was usually always the same 3 things for a little while. And it was always, I'm grateful for my education because I was still in school. I'm grateful for my family and I'm grateful for my cats because at the time,
cats right on.
and so like I just stuck with that and eventually I would add, and that was just one little tool that I used in the beginning, and I've filled my toolbox since then, but like I'm always filling it now.
Yes.
It took a year of me just slowing down, making changes before I said, okay, we got to be serious now. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so I finally decided, okay, well, I need to hold myself accountable and I need to start by telling other people that I'm making this change now. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I have to mean it. And so that's just what I did. And here we are.
Congrats. You made it so far, Kaleigh. Oh my gosh. The growth is real. And
Yes.
I like thank you for sharing everything that you've shared because it's so important to hear that the real and the raw, authentic person that you people are, right?
Yeah.
And you own that with lots of goodness and power and so I commend you for that. It ain't easy telling your story, but once you do, it feels like gets easier every time a little bit.
Yes. Yes.
But like the grief comes in waves, hey?
Yes, definitely. 4 years ago, or even 3, maybe 2, there was no way that I was going to be on a podcast talking about my ex-husband.
Yeah.
No way.
I was literally gonna start off this podcast being like, this is tonight we disclose everything about our exes. No, but then I was like, fuck that, don't say that.
Oh, yeah. Gross.
Yeah. No, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I honestly, what you were talking about love, and I want to share something, and it's from a book that I'm actually, well, I'm not reading it right now. I'm reading a different book right now, but I've read a little bit about this one, and it's called Women Who Love Too Much. Have you heard it?
Yeah, I've heard of that book.
When you keep wishing and hoping, he'll or she'll change.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good one. I actually, this was handed down to me chaos ago. It's not like I just picked it up right now and, you know. But I want to read something out of it because it's so important. This message is so important. And I can read a lot of it, but I just want to read this little piece of it because I highlighted it like years ago. So we learn too young and too well how to take care of everyone but ourselves. Our own needs for love, attention, nurturing, and security went unmet while we pretended to be more powerful and less fearful, more grown up and less needy than we really felt. And having learned to deny our own yearning to be taken care of, we grew up looking for more opportunities to what we had become so good at, being preoccupied with someone else's wants and demands rather than acknowledging our own fear and pain and unmet needs. We've been pretending to be grown up for so long, asking for so little and doing so much, that now it seems too late to take our turn. So we help and help and hope that our fear will go away and our reward will be love. And that description that I read is based off of childhood trauma, pretty much. The need to be needed, pretty much. Like, growing up, some of us were raised with two parents that were unhappily married, or two separate parents, one single mother, one single father, and we were always filling in the gaps of how we could make our mom or our dad feel better. And that's kind of what that relates to. And so from those experiences, like, we bring that in. We bring all of those, what we try to do as young beings into our adult beings and in the relationships that we create with our intimate partners or even friendships, right? Just bonds in general. So I think that was really important. I hope you guys kind of got that a little bit, got something out of that. It's a pretty good book. That was page 72 of Women Who Love Too Much. This is not a sponsored video, but here's the book. And that one is written by Robin Norwood. Lovely gal. But yeah, speaking of books, just wait, this one fell on the ground. I'm just gonna slide over. Kaleigh, I don't know if you have any books that you were gonna share tonight. You probably have like a whole shelf of them. But this one's Surviving Domestic Violence by Kendra Weenie. Kendall Netmaker's sister. Yeah. This is the journey of self-care and healing. Anybody who hasn't read this book, this video is also not sponsored, but I'm going to take Kendra in it so she watches it. Just kidding, no. But I just want to let everyone know, go check out this book if you haven't. I just wanted to add a little bit to that because we were talking a little bit about relationships and love and self-care. And so, yeah. Any books that you recommend?
Well, the one I'm writing, huh?
Everyone stay tuned for Kaleigh River Armanco's book.
Heck yeah.
When is it going to be published?
I'm hoping within the next year. Wow. I'm working with someone right now, and she actually just sent me a few samples of the cover, and I was like, it's real. It's real.
It's really happening. Oh my God, for real? Holy crap.
Yeah. I've been working on it for like 5 years. And I finally was like, okay,
low
gotta
key.
get going. Yeah.
Wow. Holy, you're humble. Right on, girl.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Holy crap. Everybody, stay tuned. She's writing a book. That's amazing, Kaleigh. Are you going to like tell us the title or anything right now?
It's called, yes, I will. It's called She Rises.
Wow.
And there's 2 parts to it. And it's a piece of my heart. And
Absolutely.
It really just kind of tells the process that I've been going through with this whole healing thing. And it kind of just talks about what it feels like to go through that process of growth and how you can start and how you change if you give yourself the space and the time to work through it.
Yeah.
And it's not done yet, and it's always a process, but it's coming along, and I'm really grateful. And the idea is just to inspire other people. And if they read those words and it resonates with them, because that's really what helped me, was other people. And the things that they say would stick with me, and it would just help me think about something differently. So that's just kind of what I want to do. That's the hope.
I love that. I love how you say that's the hope. Because that's the topic too. Awesome. I'm so proud of you, Kaleigh. Oh my gosh. I really look forward to it. I'm probably going to scream after this video.
Me too.
And message you and be like, oh my God, for real, you're serious? Yeah, I'm gonna come to your book signing and everything, and I'm gonna buy it.
Oh, you're
Perfect.
making me blush, huh?
I'm excited for you. No, that is so hype. Honestly, that's so hype. Kaleigh said, I'm proud of you and your strength. She's also said that she's been exposed. And then Shan also said, yo, so exposed. Love you, bros. Not too much, though. Um, awesome. And like, I also want to share a little bit
About, are we still there? Yeah, sorry, I kind of
Yeah.
just clicked something. Hey, I think I got you off the headphones.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you on my phone, so I don't even need to wear these bad boys anymore. Wow, thank God, I was getting a headache. Awesome. Haley, sorry, also said, Kaleigh, you are so sweet and your spirit is so calm and pure, right?
Oh, thank you.
I can't agree more. She's such a beautiful person.
Thank you.
I feel like I can think a little bit better too. Like, I don't know, those headphones are like sucking my brain, man. And here I'm putting my hands up my armpits are probably just ruining it. Exposed even more. I really wanted to touch on the specifics of the word healing. Because to a lot of people, you know, like we could hop on this podcast. And I was really thinking about this, Kaleigh, because you know, we picked this topic, healing, and I was like, oh man, that's a huge one, because we could talk for, you know, days and about so many things in just one topic. I mean, one podcast, right? One podcast could be just based on one thing in the context of healing. So I feel like the word healing is even a little bit overutilized. Do you think so?
You hear it a lot.
Yeah. And like what I mean by overutilized is I feel almost as if, you know, because healing is like we're always going to be healing, right?
Yes.
Through everything that we experience and do in life, especially with grief. We're always going to be getting through it. And so through healing, I really think that balance is something that we seek while we're on that healing journey. Balance plays a huge key factor in our healing journey. Do you want to touch a little bit about balance?
I'm in a mental health and wellness course right now. And we talk about balance within our, like the whole person, the medicine wheel all the time. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know much about that before. But I'm slowly starting to realize it's just showing up for yourself every single day, mm-hmm. and just asking yourself what it is you need today. Because sometimes our giving it our best is different. It's some days we can give 100%, some days we can only give 20, right? And no matter how much that is, it's still enough.
Yeah.
And I saw this quote one time, and it said something like, the flowers don't bloom all year round, and neither do you. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I just started giving myself more grace.
Yes.
Because there's days when I'm on top of everything. I'm hammering out poems and my house is clean. I'm doing great as a mom. I'm cooking, like I'm on top of the schoolwork. Like there's days when it just all flows. And then there's long periods of I'm not writing. I don't feel creative. I don't want to write. I don't want to meditate. I don't want to do all the things that I know I should be doing. Mm-hmm. But it's always about just getting back on track and not beating yourself up for the times when you need to rest, because we need rest. We're not machines, you know?
Yeah, true. That's so true. I liked how you talked about the percentage of what we can give and what we have to savor. And the fact that, we don't bloom all year round, that's a statement. I want to kind of share something that I practice in my life through relationships. Sometimes people are like, you got to be 100 and 100. Like, as if I look at them, I'm like, what's the guts? No way. Like, you can, who the hell can give 100% every day, man? And like, maybe like thought wise, yeah, I want to give 100%, but I always, in a relationship, and like this, I'm speaking on behalf of like my marriage. I will always try my best to give 80%. That is my 100. 80% is my 100. I need to save 10 for me.
Yeah.
And that 10, that 10 is, self-care. Excuse me. And people will disagree with me, and that's okay. Some people and like, I'm not saying 80% every day either. I look at my husband and I'm like, I don't usually say this to him enough, but I'm like, yo, I can only give 40 today. Like it really, it will be like that some days. I'm like, I can only give 40% right now. And like in my head, I'm saying that, but my tone, my behavior, my attitude, like that'll show where I'm
Yeah.
at. And it's kind of like another thing on relationships is that, and I'm sure you've heard this too, because you're a writer and you're a poet and you love to read and everything, but the analogy of we shouldn't even have to speak to our partners sometimes. We just know because our hearts talk to one another. That's how close we are. You know that one, hey? But if we're yelling and we're yelling and we're disagreeing and we're cussing and shouting, we are far away from one another. And, the stillness and the calm, the quiet, we should be able to feel and comfort one another and understand one another. But if in the yelling and the chaos, man, like we can't even hear ourselves, God damn it. So, Casey, is this Casey or Case? I'm so sorry. I apologize if I'm saying their name right. Do you know who this person is, Kaleigh? Because I don't. But I'm like so hyped because I'm like, we got a newbie. You ladies are so smart, wise, and inspiring. Love what's being said and talked about. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Keisha. What the She's like, it's Keisha, bro. Well, why does your name say Casey or Case on YouTube, bro? Oh my god, Keisha, tell me is your last name, or you're an Indigenous birth support worker? Yes, that's the Keisha? Because I know like 5 Keishas, man. I'm like, hey, this is the Montreal Keisha, or like, is this my Keisha bro that I work with? I think it's my Keisha bro that I work with. Okay, anyways, sorry, bro. I love you. But no, like what I just shared with you, like you've heard that, hey?
Yeah.
I think that like, and I always like, you can always talk the talk, right? But like, I still believe that you gotta talk, you gotta walk the talk. And so I try to practice that in my life, and like this is my reminder too, right? Is to, make my words matter. So what I'm saying, what I'm thinking in my head, I need to speak that. And sometimes I have a hard time speaking my truth in relationships, I really just tried to save the fucking, save the bullshit. There it is. I swear. I know this is only episode Niso, but I said to everyone in the PIAC episode that I was not going to swear, especially F-bombs. More on the professional side, the sexier side. But it came out, so I apologize. But yeah, like I really, I think I have a hard time, speaking truth sometimes, because it's just like, a lot of the times when you're speaking, I find if I'm speaking truth to someone who's just not there with me, it always ends in an argument. Yeah, sometimes, right? Or it's just misunderstanding, miscommunication. And that's just a little piece of what I wanted to share with some relationships that I've had, and so I don't know if you want to add to that, but everybody look at everybody's like, Keisha cook. And then she's like, LMAO. And then this Keisha's like, you're a phoenix, she rises, and Keisha's unite. Oh, hold on. You guys are deadly. Yo, then sup, bro. Okay, right on. All the Keishas are around. Sorry, we cut you off, Kaleigh.
I was just going to add to that people can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. So sometimes when what you're saying isn't resonating, it's just with that person, it's not meant to. But like there's a lot of power in planting seeds, right?
Say it loud for the people in the back, man. Oh my gosh, I love you. You're so funny. That's so true, though. Honestly, that's so true. I 100% agree with you. Say that one more time, though. Like,
people can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. Huh?
Okay, write that down. Just kidding. No, that's good.
Everybody write it down right now.
I wanted you to say it one more time because I've never heard someone say that. So that was a good one. Yeah, I like that.
I saw it somewhere. Yeah. It's stuck.
That. No, that's a good one. We haven't really touched on motherhood at all. How is being a mom? You have a baby girl.
I have one baby girl, yeah. Mm-hmm. I never thought that I would be a parent. And most of it was grief and being at war with myself. And I love you, Taylor. Thank you for being here.
Love you, Taylor. Peace and love.
Part of that journey was just being at war with myself and not letting myself be connected to that part of me. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to be a mom a long time ago. I would have had a baby when I was around 16, and it just wasn't time. And I had to walk with that grief and anger and all of those emotions for a very long time. And I didn't know, I internalized them. Mm-hmm. I punished myself for a very long time, and I convinced myself that it's not happening for me. I don't want it to happen for me. And it wasn't until I got sober and started dealing with all of my stuff, and I had to look at that, and I was like, oh yeah, that happened. And I have to forgive myself for that. And I had to really start healing that part of me, and I had to let myself grieve, because I never let myself grieve. I just shoved it all down and didn't look at it again. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I started healing myself and doing that work that I realized, hey, motherhood is a whole gift. It's a whole other journey. And if and when the time comes, and if it's meant for me, I would love to be a mom. And I just started praying about it all the time. And I started just having these open and honest conversations with the sky. Yeah. I used to imagine that creator and everybody could hear me, and I would just pour my heart out. And I prayed about it all the time. And when I started dreaming about my girl before I was even talking to her dad. So I knew she was going to come. I just trusted Creator. I just gave it to Creator because I'm only a person. I can have all the plans, but it's not up to me. That's Creator's timing. I don't mess with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been a really big learning process, but I'm really grateful that she's here because I don't know, I've had to learn a lot about myself, and I'm trying to do it. I know nobody's ever perfect. I'm just trying to do better for her. I just want her to grow up knowing that she's so loved and the things that make her unique aren't bad, and that she can trust herself, and that she's got to take no shit from no man.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
and you're doing incredible. You truly are. You're doing incredible, and you're so patient with yourself, hey? And
Yes.
you're so patient with the process and the journey. And like you said, you had trust in Creator and you were blessed. And so, yeah, that's all. That's all. It all boils down to love, hey? You were
Yes.
loving yourself truly, and you worked with yourself deeply within, hey?
Yes.
And I agree with you. That's what it's all about. Um, I think with my motherhood journey, like it definitely started young. Um, and I felt like I could say that I mothered myself a lot too, right? Like, that can get pretty deep there in itself, but we are our own mother, we have to take care of ourselves. No one's going to take care of us. We have to love ourselves, and to look in the mirror and, know our worth. No one's going to express that to us. And,
Mm-hmm.
and that's still I'm still practicing that, every day. And, I have three little girls that look up to me. And, I was blessed with my first when I was 17. And like you said too, like the connection with Creator, I know that Creator gifts us with babies whether we're ready or not. And there's the old saying, like, there's no time where you're actually ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like we don't just say, okay, I'm ready.
Great.
I'm ready right now. Like,
Yeah.
like, give me the time. Okay, I'm ready now. No, it doesn't work like that. And like I find as a birth worker, I, I've had lots of conversations with women and mothers and families of, they get surprised with another baby, and they're not ready. And, we all get scared. We all get scared. And we all have thoughts about, pregnancies that come, and we're not sure of them sometimes. But, sometimes we have to look at it from the universe perspective. And that is Creator either telling us to slow down,
Mm-hmm.
or, and, maybe we're drinking too much. Maybe we're not going on the right path in life. You were
Mm-hmm.
given that baby to slow down, to turn inward, and to, even sometimes when we lose babies, you're that's a sign of motherhood, and we need to rebirth ourselves. We need to remother ourselves, take care of ourselves. And that's a sensitive topic to talk about with a lot of women and families and men to understand as well,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And that's huge though. And so, when I talk to my families that lose babies, that don't fully make it earthside, sometimes I'm at a loss for words, and I just have to be present with those families, and be strong for them.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times they want answers, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
And, do you have anything to share on that aspect?
Yeah. A big lesson that I learned was we don't always get to know why.
Mm-hmm.
We don't always get to know the answers or why things had to happen or why we're going through something. We just have to trust that Creator's got us. A big lesson that I had to learn was, and it broke my heart, but at the same time, it gave me strength to keep going forward. And that was Creator doesn't take anything away without a plan in place to give it back.
Yeah.
And that goes for love, that goes for anything. Like, don't regret anything that you've ever done for other people. And when you have those really big heartbreaking things happen to you, just all you have, just hold yourself. Hold yourself through those moments, breathe through those moments, and trust that you're going to get your answer. But we don't always get to know why, especially right away, especially while it's happening. Trust that it'll all come together and it'll all make sense later. But for now, you just have to be there for yourself and get through those times, and just trust that we don't get all the answers. And there's power in that. And there's a lot of beauty and healing in that too, if we just let that energy come through.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Another very important thing to write down. You have so much wisdom, Kaleigh. Thank you so much for sharing everything, your thoughts and your heart with us. And this is good conversation. This really is. I know that like we said that we'd speak about a little bit about language and identity, but this is the language that we speak. You and I, when we talk with each other, we get deep. And so this is a little bit about that language, but also identity. We haven't really fully spoke on that piece of identity, but we are sharing that in itself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked a little bit about our sobriety, and motherhood and relationships. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about on the podcast that really resonated with you on the topic about healing? Because it is such a huge context, right? So like we could talk about it.
Well, healing isn't linear, and it's going to look different every day. And just because you're having a hard day or a hard week, it doesn't mean you're not making progress. Something I learned was that sometimes when we think we're not, all the work we're doing to get better and to be better isn't making a difference. But sometimes our healing shows in the way we respond to things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes something that you used to have us on the floor or in pieces, sometimes that'll come up again, but we aren't on the floor this time. We're able to hold ourselves up a little bit more. We're able to just bounce back from it a little faster. And like to me, that's what healing is. Because healing doesn't mean your life is going to be perfect and nothing's ever going to go wrong or things aren't going to happen. It just means you're going to deal with things and breathe through things a lot better. It does, like, you just won't burn it all down,
Yes, that's so true. I used to say back home in the community when I'd work for the youth, because I worked with youth for 10 years before I got into birth work. And I used to say to leadership, I'd be like, if we don't give these kids responsibility, and purpose, and to bring out the best in them and to shed light on them, they're going to burn the community down trying to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the main thing, was responsibility, because they were all out there looking for something to do and we weren't giving it to them. We weren't allowing them access to what they wanted that would flourish them, would make them blossom into leaders themselves, right? And so that's what I would say. I'd say they'd burn it down. And that's like, yeah, so like what you just said really resonated with that memory. Because it is true. We tend to get into that flight or fight mode, hey, with a
Yeah.
lot of like reactionary behaviors. If we are, if we want to say unhealed, or, still on that self-discovery of building patience and how we respond to things, reflecting more than reacting. Yeah,
Mhm.
those are so important. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. It takes time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we're getting up to, we hit 1 hour now. Usually I just podcast for 1 hour. Is there anything else that you want to share, or do you want to end us off with a poem?
Yeah. I'll just find one to share. Um, Sometimes I don't get to pick. Sometimes I don't know what comes. I just,
You just open the bouquet and you're like, boom, this is the one.
yeah. I've never actually talked about that process to people before. Maybe it's another tale, another
Yeah.
time.
Well, we're pulling the tail now.
But I do share my poems. I post them on my social media. Um, my my little handle or whatever for that is just Kaleigh River Writes. And yeah, I think I want to share. Sometimes when I'm reading my poems, I have to like look at with them because I write them just quickly. And I'm like, what does that say?
Just like a doctor's slip, hey?
Yeah. But this one, I think it's fitting. It's called Fire Medicine.
Ooh.
Here it goes. They say we carry fire in our veins. Iskutio, that inner flame that guides us, warms and protects us, steadies us as we make our way through colonial places, not meant for our ways. They weren't meant to contain our spirits. If they get too close, they will burn. They forget we are seers, who will one day rise up and reclaim our power that they've stolen away. The rise and burn of our inherent inner flame will burn this place to the ground. Our children were found and they lit the way, and we will be their voice so they can rest. You are residing on stolen land founded on genocide. And if you were in our shoes, you'd want this to burn too. Fire is a medicine. It has much to teach if you'd let it. The door to the spirit world, guarded and kept safe from prying hands that only want to harm and take, but not anymore. You see, we're answering the call to rise, to embrace our flames and ignite the road ahead and light the way. And we are coming to protect and reclaim everything your predecessors couldn't take. Our hearts, our flames, our ancestral ways, and the land remembers. She sees you. She's given back to us and ignited the flames meant to ignite and set ablaze to everything. Our home fires, our fire keepers, rise up. The old ones are coming.
Hey. Oh, that was good. I love how you get into character too. It just like sets the tone. Right on. That's beautiful. When did you write that one?
It says last November.
Right
I just
on.
did everything.
Oh, like it snaps. That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Kaleigh. I appreciate you.
Appreciate
Keep
you.
inspiring. Seriously, keep inspiring. Keep speaking your truth, and everybody go follow Kaleigh. Kaleigh River Writes, right?
Yes,
And on Instagram and Facebook.
and TikTok. But it's just Kaleigh River on TikTok.
Oh, cute. I don't do TikTok, but yeah, okay, sweet. Kaleigh River on TikTok.
I'm just on there saying stuff.
Right on. Oh my gosh, are you gonna be famous soon? Yeah.
I don't want to be famous. I just want to say my stuff, say my part.
That's good. No, I love it. And honestly, Kaleigh, I feel like your spoken word is like your prayers, and you heal people through what you read and what you share. And so that's so important, and I love that. It's medicine. Keisha also said, so good, you gals. Thank you for this. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody here, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And yeah, this space was nice. Yeah, do you have anything to share? Anything else?
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for thinking of me. It was.
Yes. You're one of the first. You're one of the first. I was like, I have to get her on. I'll probably get you on again, even just on a different topic, okay? We'll talk about land back age. Just kidding. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna end it now. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Have a good night. Take care and give yourself grace. Okay?
Yes. Give yourself more grace.
Hi, hi.